Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 11:54 a.m, so we're almost slipping into the afternoon, and it's the 22nd of June 2024. And as I suspected yesterday, it's an overcast, sort of murky, cold kind of day, and so not all that attractive to the Tanya's sensibilities, but we've had lots of sunshine lately, and I'm grateful. And eventually it must rain, especially because the garden needs it. Am I right? So I woke up very early at 7, which is unusual. And then I just sort of lay there and listened to podcasts until about 10 a.m. In between that, I got up and had the delicious almond croissant that Nikki brought me yesterday afternoon. I heated it in the microwave and warmed it, and oh my goddess, it was delicious. So thank you to the Multiverses, and thank you to Nikki, and thank you to her bakery, Rising, that gifted me with their bread and their croissant. Oh, I cut into the spelt loaf of bread last night to freeze it down, because I freeze my bread down so it doesn't go mouldy, and and I slice it up so I can just take individual portions. And oh my goodness, the texture, it was just so, you could just bite into it and chew it. It was just divine. No offense to anyone who's of religious, I once upset a nun by referring to the biscuits she brought to a meeting as divine, but I didn't know she was a nun, and I said, whoever made these biscuits is divine, and she thought that was blasphemy, but it isn't actually in the broad scheme of things, because the divine created the chef that created the biscuits, and the biscuits came out of our earth, and was the flour, and the butter came from a cow, and it is all, when you cobble it all together, it is indeed divine. I don't think that's blasphemy at all, but Catholics, they have their own ideas about things, and that's okay. That keeps them, grounded in their reality. And I'm grounded in my more multi-universal reality, that everything belongs to the divine ultimately. And, biscuits and almond croissants brought to me as a surprise, as an act of divinity and, charity and sweetness and kindness. So it is indeed divine. Being kept alive and sustained with the most delicious nourishment is divine. Falling in love, divine. Sometimes, if it's a toxic relationship, falling out of love and getting oneself to safety is also divine, although painful but necessary. So anyway, on we go on a happy note. Charlie's looking out the window and thinking about climbing the curtains, which we cannot have because I'll have to wash them, and I don't want to create extra work for myself, do I, Charlie? And she says, but Mama, it wouldn't hurt you to wash the curtains more often. Yes, but not that often, because you pooed in them. It's not an excuse for bad behaviour, Charlie. So I do my very best to minimise my workload, and I only do certain things when they absolutely need to be done. I am, conserving energy that way. It's a nice way of putting it, isn't it? Anyway, as you can see, I'm feeling a little bit better today, mentally. My chest is feeling a bit irritated. I don't know why, but probably the cooler temperature and the dampness in the air from the change in the weather, because we're about to get rain sometime today or this evening. And so my chest is like a weather vane. It goes up and it goes down. It lets me know that it's noticing any adaptations. Oh, anyway, I had a wonderful shower, washed my hair, which was bloody getting oily again. So I've used the clarifying shampoo, and we'll see how we go if I get a few days out of that. My hair's looking remarkably wavy and curly lately, which is also unusual. It's not normally this curly, but that too is okay, since I used to have dead straight hair, and my mother constantly told me that I looked retarded, and she was particularly vicious about it. But in those days I was in, the throes of puberty and couldn't do much about my lank straight hair. It just was how it was. So she made me wash my hair with Sunlight dishwashing liquid, which is lemon scented and harsh, and turned my hair into a ball of scarecrowish frizz. Oh, on the subject of scarecrowy frizz, because I got myself distressed and stressed and upset about having to go to the sleep study, and I was out of my comfort zone because I very rarely sleep in strange places overnight, and like a child I was kind of in this berserker heightened state. No one's fault but mine, but my own mental stuff. But anyway, I don't know why, but I'd used this shampoo that normally is okay. It doesn't normally frizz me like that, but it must have been partly, the stress hormones. So, you have to laugh. So the gods will have the sleep technician is this handsome, younger, Viking-looking man with this beautiful long braid and an undercut, and look, far too young for me. Could be my son, but there's this look between us crossed that he could see I'm his people and I could see he's my people. The ancient ones, the Viking ancestry, which in my case goes back to what, 800 AD. Like, we're talking way, 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 way back, right? But they're calling to me all the time, my Viking ancestors, and I'm not even sure why, but I think it's my Scottish and Irish, Celtish bloodlines on my father's side that are working to help me get better and grow into my crondom graciously. And they've been in my life for quite some time, the Scottish influences and the Viking influences. So I see this young man and I immediately thought, oh my goodness, why do they send me, an asexual celibate who's tapped down my sexuality for 10 fucking years, such a gorgeous man, another sumptuous movable feast that I can't partake of, am I right? Well, I cannot simply unleash my sexuality on just any unsuspecting male that enters into my purview. But it was hilarious. And at one point, because I had to get him to unhook all my mask and tubing to get up to pee during the night. So at one point I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm such a nuisance, but I've been trying to psych myself out of needing to pee for an hour, and my bladder runs this body now, not me. So I have to give in, or I'm going to be in a compromised situation. I said, but you are gorgeous. And he's like, okay, Tanya. He was a lovely young man. How did I get onto that subject about gorgeous men? There was something I wanted to say apropos of that. Oh, you know what? It's gone right out of my feckin' head. There was something about that. That was a segue that was leading up to what I wanted to say. This getting older and this constant sleep deprivation is starting to really grind my gears, people, because I'm afraid of losing my mind. But anyway, I don't think I've lost my mind, apart from blossoming in my sexuality and noticing when younger men, or even men my age, are actually handsome. That's fairly new. Of course I noticed before when they were handsome, but I didn't care. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, you know. This is the thing about moving from Thanatos, the death consciousness that we lived in for 4 years, to the life consciousness, the eros, the sensuality, the sexuality, the life force, the need to breed, or the urge to merge, or however you want to, put it, is I call it, in my case, because it's been locked away for 10 years, I call it blossoming, like little tiny sea anemone putting out little tendrils of, oh, that one over there noticed me and he's very lovely, but I gotta hide and go back in now and pretend I'm not here. Okay, well, he's not looking now, so I'll just... Oops! That one over there has noticed me. Put it back in, pull it back in, pull it back in. Oh, behave. Anyway, I did a trance drumming recently and they said, you don't have to do that anymore, Tanya. Which I thought was very sweet, whoever that entity was, probably my higher mind. You don't have to be the little sea anemone poking out little tendrils and sucking it back in out of fear. You don't have to fear your sexuality, Tanya, they said. You don't have to fear your womanhood. You don't have to fear your power. If men fear your power or dishonour your power, that's on them, not on you. If there's a man that you come across that admires your power and loves you the way you are, as odd and quirky and weird as you are, you don't have to play small and go, oh, I'm going to hide now. You don't have to feel ashamed. You've done nothing wrong, but be a real woman in your late stage, trauma activation. But you've done nothing wrong, but be a real woman and, be immortal on planet Earth with real emotions and, a human body that craves touch and tenderness and intimacy and kindness. There's nothing wrong with that. So stop beating yourself the fuck up over that. So there's all little tiny marks on my varnish on my table, which I think are from Charlie's little feet. Oh dear, Charlie, you're leaving your little imprints on my... Yes, I think that is her. Oh, it's potentially the bottom of the little wire chair I bought in IKEA to lift my phone up. Well, anyway, I'm segueing from all of that. I can't remember what I wanted to tell you about seeing the gorgeous young men and noticing them and the one at the sleep study. I started to tell you that I was all het up about the sleep study, blah, blah, blah. No, there was another whole story to that. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. It's gone out of my head. If it comes back later, it comes back. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's gone forever. And, it's just a thought, like a whisper on the wind. All right, we'll carry on with today's Memories of Even Date. They're going to be quite long because I noted there's 7,000 words, so it's going to be intense, people. I may look at things and actually chop things out as we go because blah, But anyway, we'll see how we go. I usually read it in its entirety because I'm pedantic like that. But anyway... Beset by illness, but up she rises, and oh dear goddess. Here's a photo of me in June 2016 with my Beauregard, and in June 2016 he was only 8 months old, but it's a bit hard to see in its entirety because it's a massive big photo. I don't know why it's posted as such a massive photo. But anyway, here we go. Here's me with my beautiful Beau puppy, my Beauregard, my Bobo, my darling, my fur angel, my sweetheart, who's now no longer with us in the physical. But since we've been sitting here before I started this video, I ate a bit of lunch. Charlie was freaking me out by saying, Bobo, Bobo. Just did it again, over and over again. And she's looking at the photo of Bobo, saying Bobo. Yes, that's a photo of Bobo on the wall. That's our Bobo. I think she can see his spirit. I think he's around. Probably come because I've been a bit, I had a kind of a breakdown 4 days ago, so I've been a bit off my head, so, you know, the spirits come to comfort me sometimes, which is delightful. You climbed on my shoulder. I'm just watching a neighbour going past with her little doggy. Yes, everyone's got their little doggies but me. Well, their doggies didn't get sick and died, so there is that. Go on, up on mama, up on mama, up on mama. No, I don't want you to. Don't make this hard for me, Charlie. She's got this weird thing lately when I make videos that she wants to sit on my forearm and just get in my freaking way. But anyway, we carry on. This story is going to be a bit embarrassing because I wet myself during the night, but it's actually the point of why I shared the story was it was about the dream that caused that to happen, sort of. It was kind of trying to warn me that it was about to happen. So anyway, it's a bit embarrassing, but here we go. I can handle it. I'm a grown-up. Things happen. So here we go. Last night was epic. I peed all night, but the worst was around 3 a.m. I was having a vivid dream about peeing at a house of people. Worded that a bit weird, didn't I? I was at some people's home who had only one toilet. They needed the toilet, so I said, you go. But then I felt the urge to pee again. Dear goddess. So in the dream, I squatted down in the bath so I could clean it thoroughly after. Then I woke up with the realization I was actually peeing my bed in real life. Tanya, I shrieked, calling out to myself out of my sleep, right? Oh, dear goddess. I leapt out of bed, ran to the kitchen to find my cleaning supplies. No enzyme cleaner, damn it. I washed the mattress and sheets and doona as best as I could, then got out the hairdryer to try to dry it. This took over half an hour in the middle of the night when I'm exhausted, by the way. I'm going to have to go and get a tissue. I need to blow my nose. I'll be back. It's driving me mad. Everything drives me mad. Right, here we go, my darlings. Sorry about that. Now I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. We can do this. Charlie, you need to get off that keyboard. You're ficking everything up. And now you get up here. And if you keep being annoying, I might even put you back in your cage. I don't know what she's done, but she's done something. All right, here we go. Where was I? Oh, it took over half an hour to dry my mattress so I could climb back into bed, right? I still don't feel right in my nose. It's like, not really blot, but just some annoying little kind of bubbling happening. It's probably some kind of a stroke. Wouldn't it be funny if I had a stroke while I was making my videos? No, it wouldn't, because you wouldn't know about it, because it'd get deleted very, very quickly, I can assure you, afterwards, when I found out that I'd made a fool of myself on YouTube by having a stroke. Anyway, I eventually got back to sleep after spending about an hour telling myself that if this keeps up, I need to die. Worrying about needing to buy a new electric blanket, worrying about how I want a partner, but now I'm incontinent. That is just an impossibility and gross, so I hope I die soon. By the way, I'm not incontinent. That was like a one-off, hasn't happened again. It was just deeply humiliating and upsetting because, you know, winter time, cold, wet, peed in bed and having to wash it and all that drama. And so I don't need to die soon, and I could still have a partner, and life could still be beautiful if I'd stop freaking out about things that happen only once. This happened only once. But anyway, I fell asleep and woke up at 8 a.m., stripped the bed, took the 2 doonas outside to air, took the pillows out. I need to buy a new feather doona and, of course, a new mattress, but I can't afford it. This is what ends up grinding my gears most of the time, people. Rati arrived to clean the house, so I left her to go to Spotlight to buy a new electric blanket. My old one, although it still worked, was stained and manky anyway, and now peed in. Ugh. It cost me $85 for a new one. I got home and Rati told me that Beauregard cried while I was gone. And it was funny because when he cried, Charlie made similar sounds to mimic him. Oh, Charlie. I laughed. I immediately set about making my bed up with fresh sheets, doona covers, and the brand new electric blanket, which I discovered this morning has actually a fault on the right-hand side when I turned it off. You know, the light was off and it looked like it was off, but the blanket didn't cool down. It stayed on. So I had to turn it off on the other switch, and I've got to check it later if it's still on. That's a fire hazard, people. I'll have to turn it off at the main. But anyway, it was just so bizarre. I was like, why is this still on when I turned it off? I thought I was going crazy at first. Charlie, just get up on my shoulder, please. Up here. Look, what did I do with your perch? I brought your perch in. I put it somewhere. Here it is. Look, just there. Get up here. Get up here. Up here. Up here. That's it. Oh, dear goddess. We're missing in translation today, Charlie. So where was I? Oh yes, I also put a waterproof cover on the mattress in the hope that if this should happen again, I can protect the mattress a bit longer. Oh my God, epic. It really was epic. I told Rati, don't take this seriously. This is just how I rave on, people. I told Rati, I need a man who can help me financially, but no one would ever want an incontinent old woman, and I would not want to sell myself out sexually for merest survival. So I said, if this keeps up, I have to just bloody die. And Rati's so sweet. She's just such a sweet soul. She just smiled at me like... She doesn't know. Sometimes she doesn't know whether to take me seriously or not, but she just smiled. It's okay, Tanya. You'll be fine. I'm sure it was a one-off, which it was. Thank you, Holy One in all manifestations. I get like that, but life will go on, man. All I can look forward to is adult diapers and despair. Meanwhile, it's a beautiful sunny day in Brisbane, the winter solstice, and it's actually Yule. It's Yule now. It was Yule yesterday. Yes, I know it's Yule. We should make a fire and make an offering to all the gods and the angels and the fae and the birdies. Well, you had your offering. Yes, you did. You took some of my lunch before. Later that day I wrote, oh, this is quite lovely. Love is everywhere, even when Damama T is crawling on all fours, looking for the 5 tiny opals she lost While polishing, I only found one. I'm still missing the other 4. The fairies have my opals, my one true love, and my money, but they very politely gifted me a seed. What the fuck will germinate from that little papery, fragile, lost seed? Question mark. Could it be a little shop of horrors? Blessings and much insane laughter from Titania's realm. And here's the seed and why I thought that was delightful. If you have a good look at it, it's in the shape of a love heart, with a love heart right smack bang in the middle of it. I mean, you know, the fairies took four of my 5 opals, because I did find one, and gifted me that seed with love in it. But you know what? If that's a sign of true love coming into my life, what year was that? I think that was last year. Then that's a good enough sign, isn't it? Like, hello? Can't get more pertinent and obvious and clear and concise and succinct than that. It's very, very cute. I was going to say I want my opals back, but if that was my tribute that I had to pay and it manifests in reality, 3D reality and real world in the eternal now, then they can keep the opals and I'll just enjoy the love that's flowed to me that is sincere and heartfelt and, you know, mutually exclusive and, you know, mine and lovely and, you know, healthy and constructive and honouring and respecting, and you know how I go on. You know how I go on with all my affirmations and manifestations. But anyway, I thought that was delightful. They took my opals but gave me a heart-shaped seed. 22nd of June 2022, 2 years ago. This is a quote from The Velveteen Rabbit. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly except to people who don't understand. 11:37 p.m. Time to sleep. I did not get much sleep last night, so I hope to pass out successfully tonight and flip my eyeballs on either deep rest to interface with the gods, or else dream psychedelically, inspirationally and exponentially, as I have always done since early childhood. The first few times I almost died. My strange little brain bore even stranger succulent fruits, and I wouldn't have it any other way, although I could have done without all the trauma and other abuses. Anyway, I had a lovely day, a creative day, a day filled with sunshine and happiness, with my bird and dog, and even a visit from Coco. I was very, very ill this morning. Excuse me. But the prednisone steroid has eased that cough back off a bit, thank God. I fought long and hard, and it did not need to be this awful. Hopefully I will be better in a few days. I have lots to achieve in my life, yes I do. But that is for a dozen or 1,000 tomorrows. Right now, Lila Tov, good night. Love is the law, the mainframe of the multiverses. Love, amor, aroha nui. Ow! Charlie. Liba, she's being so naughty and she's grinding my gears and she just bit me for no reason. That's it. She's done. She's going back on her cage. I'm done with you now. You're being obnoxious, Charlie. Obnoxious children. Go back into their little boxes. In your case, your cage. Yes, you're on timeout because you've been a brat. Swearing at me in bird language. Look at this. Just did that on our way out. By the gods. Well, this is the joys of being owned by a rainbow lorikeet, people of Earth. It's full on at times. Full on. But I love her. She loves me. She's just on timeout, that's all. Where was I? Love. Amor. Aroha nui. Aroha nui. I keep saying aro, and it's not. It's aro. The O sounds like o. Phonetics, people, phonetics. Aroha nui, liba, ahava, and Alpha and Omega, Ein Sof, or to Malkut. I don't know why, but since I had that lunch, my throat's doing weird, chunky, closing up things. Must be allergic to some chemical in the noodle seasoning that, from the special noodles I've been buying, but they're all full of chemicals, am I right? So, it tastes delicious and I enjoyed it. And I added chicken and corn and all sorts of yummy things to it, but there's something in it that I'm not liking. My body's not liking. Anyway, here we go. Don't worry, I'm not going to, close up or anything, but I'm conscious that I've got all this sudden horrible sensation. Anyway, we'll be fine. We, the Tanya, will be fine. Loving my body back to full vibrance. I think I meant vibrancy. With the assistance of my healers, my angels, my gods, and my own stubborn, recalcitrant self. Grateful, humble, but often masochistic. Why, woman here? Like choking over your lunch, right? I need to get a glass of water. Why be masochistic when all I need is a glass of water? Seriously. But I just had a cup of tea to wash it down, so I don't know why I'm having this reaction. Anyway, invitations are extended to my Bashet. Bashet is the person that's destined to be your partner. Whomever that man might prove to be. I even flipped my... Oh dear goddess. I even flipped my sign on the front gate, which on one side says, "True love welcome here." On the other side says, "No hawkers, no trespassers, no proselytizers, no psychic vampires, sacred space." And it's basically the fuck off sign. But when I'm in a good mood, I flip it. And I had it flipped for about 3 months. True love welcome here. Still no man has entered into my private domain. But that's okay. That's okay because it has to be the right person and I'm not in a hurry. I'm old. I'm running out of time and breath and I'm slowly choking to death. But I'm not in a hurry. I mean, you kind of have to laugh. I'm not in a hurry. I'm waiting for a truly good, kind, loving man who genuinely, wants to be with me for real, not mucking me around like the other idiots. Anyway, here I have, I polished the copper, in brackets, Venus energy. Whenever I polish my copper, all my copper pots and all my stuff at the front door, I get all this romantic attention from men. Like copper truly is Venus energy. I can almost sense his proximity and loving intentions. And I'm smiling because I know who that is, but I'm not going to tell you, of course. But it was delightful how that manifested only, when did I write this? 22nd of June. Yeah, 25th of August. He says, I love you. And as a friend, of course. And I replied, I love you too. But that came as a great surprise because I didn't know he felt like that way about me, even as a friend. So that was adorable, my darling. But anyway, this was 2 months prior, exactly 2 months prior. I wrote, I can almost sense his proximity and loving intentions. So that one was already kind of looking at me and probably not sure how to behave around me because I'm prickly as a sobber in a desert, like a prickly pear, and I'm like that with all men now because of years of damage, and I'm very hard to approach, very, 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 very difficult to pin down. And so all this loveliness did manifest, but I was like sensing it but not exactly knowing at that point in time who the person was, right? So that was delightful. Here I write, don't know who this person is, but I sure hope that when I meet him, I get it right this time and there are no more epic, cruel, sadistic fuck-ups. Sad but true. Prednisone is a truth serum or a psychobabbling enhancer. It drives me crazy, but my lungs needed the support. In a response to an article posted by ScienceAlert.com, researchers are figuring out why some people can hear voices of the dead. I replied, I'm going to get a glass of water. This is ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So this is the thing, people. I can be fine one moment and ridiculous the next. It's just, I can never predict how I'm going to feel in any moment in the space-time continuum. And it's why I get very frustrated, annoyed about this chronic fucking struggle just being alive, right? Here we go. There's a cure for this. It's called Maya water, H2O. Oh, that's a little bit better. It's mildly better, but at least it's purified water now. I got so angry and upset and livid when I saw that news report that all our water's been poisoned for the last 10 years with PFOS, that I thought, instead of complaining about being suspicious that our water supplies are all contaminated, which I have been for quite some years now, and I was right, demonstrably right again, I went out and bought a filter, but even then it's like, oh well, you just got to do what you got to do. It does taste quite a bit sweeter and slightly better somehow than the tap water coming straight out of the tap. So whatever it is, it's working. But you know, probably part of my breakdown was my body going into shock over not having all those extra chemicals that I have every day with the water supply. Am I right? It was like almost like a withdrawal. It was like went right off my nut. So when you're used to drinking in chlorine and ammonia and PFOS and God knows what else they're putting in our water, I dread to think you're going to react because it's something you're used to. You're going to withdraw. Anyway, that's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Sort of It was a multi-leveled layered thing that contributed to that breakdown, but I honestly think that might have been the shock to my system coming off all that. I'm so highly sensitive, so highly sensitive to chemicals, it's ridiculous. And if I have that choking globulous thing every time I eat those noodles, it'll be a chemical in that, probably, possibly aspartame or what's the other thing they put in food to enhance flavouring. I'm allergic to. I'm laughing because it's probably in it. Didn't even think to read the chemicals on the packaging. What is it called? Come on, they put it in Chinese food. It eludes me. But anyway, that would explain why I suddenly had that lump in my throat. My nose started running and I was a bit of a mess. Note to self, don't make videos just after you've inhaled Korean noodles. Anyway, where was I? Right, here we go. So, in answer to how people hear voices, hear spirit voices specifically. I didn't start hearing spirit voices until I was about 33, after the second strangulation. I'm definitely not schizoaffective, as I shut that ability down until it surfaced again in 2020. My Māori cousins, ancestors, chatting to me in old Māori whilst I was frantically mopping the floors in my bedroom, my spare bedroom, now studio, where the room where Charlie sleeps, but also where I keep all my books and my silversmithing supplies and my dead mother's ladro and other bits and bobs in there. So they kept telling me I had manatoa. I kept telling them I was busy and to bugger off. But eventually I sat down and tried to write what they were saying, then used Google Translate. That was weird. Thought I heard the sound of like a china plate being lifted up and put down, but might be Charlie playing with her dishes in her cage. Mostly I get song lyrics as messages if it's auditory. My guide was a transgender person who used to work as a drag queen in a cabaret in Las Vegas, or so she told me back in 1996. She actually came from the Bronx in New York, and she told me in one of our communications that she had the best box in the business, meaning she had had surgery to create a vagina and had transitioned from male to female. So yeah, it was she was a very interesting spirit guide, because she would come in singing show tunes, a line from a show tune, and I would have to try and guess. Usually I knew the song, but sometimes I would have to try and guess which song it was and what the actual message was. She made me work for my messages, baby. Here I write, she always came in with show tunes, which I always thought was bizarre and hilarious. But I don't know if she still guides me, because she was in my life when my marriage broke down, and so right up until my mid-30s, and then I guess some other guide stepped in, or she, wasn't quite so active in my life anymore when I slowly began to stabilise a bit from all that horror and surviving the strangulations, and and I was also probably more busy with dealing with my children and all that sort of thing. So, but anyway, she was very protective, loving force in my life for quite some years, about actually in truth about 10 years all up. But I don't, but I don't know if she still guides me, although I do still get the occasional song, usually just between waking up in the morning when you're just coming out of sleep into consciousness. I'll get a song, and if I don't write it down or if I don't acknowledge it and it's an important message, it'll keep flashing back to me throughout the morning, sometimes even into the afternoon, and until I share the song on Facebook or write it down or acknowledge it, it'll be at me and at me and at me and at me. But yeah, that hasn't happened either for a few weeks or months. But I find it delightful when I'm given messages via song lyrics. I guess because it's less confronting and it's kind of cute and sweet and childlike and, adorable. So 2 mornings ago, Spirit insisted I play Bolero by Ravel. They kept playing until I played it on my CD player. So I did. I was greatly amused. I played it on Spotify, but my CD player has Bluetooth, and that's what I mean by that, sorry. I just got a message here, just for a moment.